is religious and one of the kind of last faithful people left on Earth at the arrival of these crazy overlords, and instinctively Peretta is dead set against them, and that kind of is informed by her faith but also by her personal experience. I feel like a lot of her journey is motivated by her relationship with her mother. Her mother kind of loses faith, and that has drastic consequences for Peretta in her young life. So for me, that was a really great way to ground her journey and her very strong distrust for these benevolent overlords. I guess it is liberating, isn't it? Because no one can compare me to the book. I'm like, you did that wrong. So, phew. Look, I think it was really important that she exists. When you read the novel, I mean, in its original form, it feels... How do I put this? It feels a little old-fashioned in terms of the fact that there are no female characters, really. They sort of feel like placeholders in the novel, whereas I think in our reworking of this story, the female characters have a place, they have depth, they have clear motivations, and they have wants and needs, as we do. And I think that's really important. I think to ignore the fact that, we're making this in 2015 rather than 1950, it's an important thing. And obviously the industry is changing and more women appearing both in front of the camera and behind the camera. And, I think that it was a very wise move on Matthew's part to include this character. And it's not like she springs from nowhere. There are questions of faith that come up in the sort of center area of the book, which is this very beautiful, very esoteric section of the novel where the large questions are asked about faith and about consequence. And I think, I feel that Peretta is the kind of sober embodiment of those questions. That's where I kind of did most of my work. Sounds funny to call it work because it's so fun, but she does appear in the first episode, and she's played by a younger me, which is really lovely to meet your younger self. And she was very sweet, and I was like, oh, well, that reflects very well on me. And she was wonderful. So you get to see that journey grow. But yes, certainly that center part of the story, the juiciest part. Actually, unseen challenges that I should have seen. Things like dealing with imaginary forces. As an actor, I've been working in this one show for a number of years now, and I felt very comfortable on that set. And then suddenly, I found myself on this brand new set with brand new requirements, dealing with larger than life ideas, alien overlords, and really trying to ground that in truth. That's a big ask, and I have a renewed respect for people who work with imaginary forces, people who work with green screen. I just now even more so think that that's just such an incredible thing. And we didn't, in a lot of ways, we got off easy. They did work really hard to give us things to work from. But for me, I've been working in a very real kind of on the ground story world that's very much grounded in social reality, and then to step out and expand those ideas to things unseen, to forces unseen, it requires a good deal of imaginative gymnastics, and I really do have a renewed respect for people who work so beautifully in such a committed way to big sci-fi tales of adventure.
What's your
I wasn't as a child. I think I kind of resisted because my brother was sort of into it, and so I kind of was like finding a different path. And then over the last few years, I've sort of been more and more drawn to it because I think it allows for greater questions. Started reading Asimov, and that was really, I understood a little more, and I'm sure I only understand a fraction of the possibility that scope allows for, that sci-fi can ask bigger questions of us because there aren't things like reality tying you down. But I think the joy with this show is that Nick and Matthew, the writer and director, were very committed from the beginning. And when we first spoke about the role, they talked about the fact they really wanted to have an emotional authenticity. So while we have these huge ideas, they wanted to ground everything in a good deal of truth. And even in the way they shot this series, they were very committed to, if we can do it in real time in front of a camera, we're going to do it. So there's some incredible stunts that were performed, real time. I thought that was really interesting. Kind of reflected this commitment to authenticity and to truth.